When you go through something traumatic, you may find yourself feeling sad, anxious, and even disconnected. That's completely normal. Your brain creates ways to protect you during these times, but sometimes when we are not able to process that properly, we get caught up into something serious like PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder. In today's Inspiration Calling video, we will be looking at the things you have to know about PTSD. This video will aim to shed light on that topic and will try to answer whatever question you have about PTSD. But before we even get there, help us grow our community by subscribing to our channel. This is a safe space to learn more about you, your personality, and anything involving psychology. Please don't forget to click the notification bell too so we can notify you whenever we upload new content. If you're done with that, let's get straight into the video. We would like to start off this video with a disclaimer. This video is not intended to replace the work of mental health professionals. Please do not use this to self-diagnose or diagnose others. This is purely for educational purposes only. If you think that you or someone you know may be suffering from PTSD, it is still best to seek professional help. They can give you a more in-depth assessment and a more accurate diagnosis. Many people have associated PTSD as something only battle soldiers, military, or victims of sexual crimes experience. However, the scope of post-traumatic stress disorder goes beyond that. Although it is most common with those situations, trauma can still happen in any event or circumstance that causes an individual to be overwhelmed with feelings of helplessness, leading to emotionally getting shattered. Based on its definition in the dictionary, trauma is the emotional shock following a stressful event or a physical injury, which may be associated with physical shock and sometimes leads to long-term neurosis. It can definitely happen to anyone. Whenever a traumatic event happens, like death, accidents, and such, the people who experience it or witness it can eventually develop PTSD. Usually they are emergency workers, law enforcement officers, or even your friends or family members who happen to have witnessed a traumatic event. Contrary to what people may believe, this does not only happen to weak people, but can really happen to anyone. There are many ways as to why someone has developed PTSD, and we will get through some of them today. Generally, the fight or flight response is the nervous system's response to a stressful event. Your blood pressure increases, your heart rate quickens, and your muscles tense up, giving you more power and quicker reactions. Your nervous system soothes your body once the threat has passed, bringing your blood pressure and pulse rate back to normal. When a circumstance stresses you out excessively, PTSD develops. Although the threat has passed, your nervous system will feel like it is stuck, making it difficult for it to return to its regular state of balance and keeping you from getting over the incident. In order to heal and get past the trauma, PTSD recovery includes aiding your nervous system in becoming free. Now, you may be wondering, how can we differentiate post-traumatic stress disorder to just a normal response to a traumatic event? To answer that, let us look at an example. For instance, Anna and Mark have seen their house burning. In fact, they were two of the survivors of the fire. They had to go through literal fire to save themselves. Although they were safe, no one can deny the trauma that they went through. After the event, both Anna and Mark went through shock and had to process a lot. They cannot help but feel like their sense of safety and trust is destroyed, making them feel unbalanced, disconnected, or numb. They felt afraid, and flashbacks of the fire incident still occur to them from time to time. As time goes by, Anna is now able to work properly again. Although she still remembers the incident, it does not have direct effects on her anymore. On the other hand, Mark still experiences flashbacks. He still goes through a lot of nightmares about the incident. Mark also cannot go near anything that creates or reminds him of fire because he gets overwhelmed and gets extremely fearful of it. Anna has a normal response to trauma, while Mark might have developed PTSD. The main difference is the fact that normal responses to trauma are symptoms that are short-lived and can last only up to days or weeks, then lighten up after. On the other side, post-traumatic stress disorder has symptoms that do not seem to lighten up and go on for months up to years. Because everyone's neurological system and level of stress tolerance varies slightly from person to person, PTSD manifests itself differently in each individual. Although you're most likely to experience PTSD symptoms in the hours or days after a traumatic event, they can occasionally take weeks, months, or even years to manifest. Sometimes symptoms seem to emerge out of nowhere. Other times they are brought on by things that bring up memories of the original traumatic experience, like sounds, sights, words, smells, or images. However, there are still ways experts determine if someone has experienced PTSD. Here are some of the symptoms or signs they may show. 1. The re-experiencing of events. Most of the time, those who have reported to experience PTSD have also noted re-experiencing the traumatic event. This does not mean they went through the same event again, but rather they get reminded by it through intrusive memories, flashbacks, nightmares, or intense mental or physical reactions. These things can be so real to the point that they feel like they are in that traumatic situation again. 2. Avoidance and numbing. Avoidance and numbing generally refers to staying away from things that bring back memories of the trauma. An individual with PTSD may avoid something that directly reminds them of their trauma, just like how Mark had been avoiding anything that had to do with fire. This can also mean losing interest in activities and life in general, becoming unable to recall certain details of the experience, feeling emotionally numb and emotionally cut off from others, and having a limited outlook on the future. 3. Hypervigilance. When you've been through a traumatic event that challenged your feeling of safety, your body will tend to go through lengths just to make you feel extra safe. This results in hypervigilance. You always feel on the edge and anxious. In your mind, it is a constant state of getting ready just in case something bad happens. This can result in hyperarousal, difficulty sleeping or any sleeping problems, irritability, feeling jumpy or easily startled, angry outburst, and aggressive, self-destructive, or reckless behavior. 4. Negative thought and mood changes. This symptom is closely related to feeling isolated and alienated. This may also show itself as trouble focusing or remembering, despair and hopelessness, a sense of betrayal and mistrust, as well as feelings of guilt, humiliation, or self-blame. It is important to know that some of the symptoms can be constant, like low mood and negative thoughts, while others can disappear and reappear from time to time. This is why the term trigger is also used when talking about PTSD. There are factors and things that can trigger one's PTSD symptoms. Anything that brings up the traumatic incident can serve as a trigger. Something apparent might come to mind, such as being involved in a vehicle accident and then hearing about it on the news. The quality of the air, a certain time of day, or even a subtle scent or taste are examples of more subtly occurring triggers. This can be anything under the sun, but most commonly triggers can be smells, sounds, taste, images, being touched, certain locations, certain situations, specific words and phrases, and even some content in social media or news. Speak to your doctor or a mental health professional if you experience unsettling thoughts and feelings regarding a traumatic occurrence for longer than a month, if they are intense, or if you believe you are having problems bringing your life back under control. Early treatment can lessen the likelihood of PTSD symptoms going worse. If you have PTSD and you have been contemplating on hurting yourself, please do not hesitate to call helplines so they can help you deal with things to get better. You can also call 911 or your local emergency number as soon as you have a suicidal or self-harming thoughts. They will stay on the line with you to make sure you are safe. If you think it is happening to a friend, family member, or someone you know, make sure someone stays with the person to make sure they are safe. Immediately dial your local emergency number or 911. Alternatively, take the patient to the nearest hospital emergency room if you can do so safely. That's it for today's video. You can leave any of your questions, suggestions, or reactions in the comments section below. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, thank you for watching.